Good morning, American Preacher here, Alexander Weiss. I'm here at the first service at Grace Church. I'm here to not just promote my book and the YouTube channel. I'm here to talk really about what it means to be a faithful Christian. I love Pastor Choi, I love this church, but I see things that are really sickening when it comes to how we are preaching to the next generation to be faithful men and women of God. I, just like many of the youth of this church, have struggled with sexual sin and the consequences of looking lustfully upon a woman, and for women, men. Satan is attacking the youth of our nation, and specifically the Christian youth of our nation. And if we have pastors and preachers that aren't even mentioning or even delving in to counsel the youth to try and heal deep wounds that parents just they don't even care about, then we're doing the church and Christ a disservice, honestly. I'm a 30-year-old virgin. I've not slept with another woman. I've been tempted many times. I've looked lustfully at explicit images online ever since I was in 7th grade, so 2007. And I just want to be honest before the church, before God, and before the youth who are struggling with the very same thing that I was for so many years. And on occasion, I'm still tempted. We're still tempted every day. Even your parents, and the church leaders of this establishment probably struggle with the same thing, except they're not brave enough or bold enough to admit it. I, on the other hand, confess my sins to Christ on the regular. I think that we should be having communion every week because we need Christ every week. What man doesn't? What woman doesn't? And so, kind of getting a more laid-back position on this, I guess. I know it's tough to talk about before the entire church, and I know that Pastor Troy and other men don't necessarily want to delve into the entire topic, but it's something as a 30-year-old that I see the youth need, I need, and I'm sure they need as well. And just because they're not bold enough to say it in front of 5,000 people doesn't mean that somebody shouldn't be, and somebody should be correcting, encouraging lovingly, and then honestly in some senses physically disciplining for things that are really wrong. It's not okay to be divorced. It's not okay to be cheating on your wife or cheating on your husband. It's not okay. And Christ took a scourging, a beating for that. And if you as a man or you as a woman think that that's okay at this church, this is not the place for you. Christ is a holy Christ. He doesn't give way to licentiousness and error and continual sin. He helps those who are truly repentant come to a place of holiness. Jesus taught and said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." You need to have a pure heart in order to see God. Purity of heart comes through faith in Christ. And so, the other thing I want to talk about at this church, at Grace Church in Eden Prairie, is modesty. Not only from the female perspective, but the male perspective. If you guys check out my Instagram, I have my swim trunks and my shirt off trying to promote my book. And, it's more about the heart with which you do something, right? I'm not out there trying to womanize and have sex with a bunch of girls. That's not my goal. It never was. And I was actually off the whole smartphone for 3 years. I didn't have a smartphone for 3 years. I had a flip phone, and I was writing this book, The Story of Blind Beauty, at my dad's farm, right? You don't need a smartphone to live in this world. I know, contrary to popular opinion, people think they need technology to live. You don't. But God had me write the book and get back on the whole smartphone thing to try and reach the next generation of the church, Christian youth, and even people who are living in habitual sin that think, whatever. God's mercy. yeah, God's mercy, but do you know that God's mercy has limits? And that's super scary. Like, brother, sister, wake up. I'm not going to be yelling right now like I usually do when I'm open air preaching, but it could be that serious. It could be something that I get that angry about, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I just want to have a real conversation about the P word, the struggle of so many of God's children that pastors just kind of shrug over, just glance over, or they point a wicked finger at something else. You know, I don't agree with the pointing of the finger, I don't agree with the winking of the eye, and the frowning of the face basically just shows that a person is living in sin. And so you can find that in Isaiah 58. And yeah, I'm gonna try and keep this video short, but the other thing, like, ladies, like, I understand like what's trending online or like what's getting women views. Like, as a Christian female, as a smart woman, right, as a daughter of God, you don't have to be like them to get a man attracted to you that is actually good. And I understand that some of y'all have a really bad nature, like you like the bad guy, like you want the bad guy, like you don't even want to be here. Your mom and dad bring you to church, and like you're just thinking about the next party and like next guy you can screw. Like, that's a shame. But if that's how you want to live your life, like, I know how that is. Like, I work out at LA Fitness. I see plenty of girls that are just, they're dumb and on the way to hell. It's just really sad. So yeah, you have decisions to make as a youth, just like I had decisions to make. I'm trying to do good with what once was used against me for evil. And I know God's grace and mercy is with me, and His physical, so to speak, chastisement has been upon me. I can tell you many stories. I broke my back squatting in college, and God used that year and 6 months of chronic back pain to purge me of sin. Not completely, but like, I went for a year and a half of physical pain to like 2 years of physical pain where I wasn't looking at anything online. I was in that, like, the pain was so much that I stopped looking at sexually explicit images. I had a girlfriend, Anna, and yeah, like, it was some of the most freeing times of my life, being away from viewing all that garbage. The ideal image is just you and your wife for the rest of your life, you know? And like, yeah, I just think that we need to have healthy conversations about how to heal the youth, how to help them through and navigate through the future of their sexual identity, and at the same time guard against that for adults that are married or not married, old age or young. Like, we have to have serious conversations about that, and it's something that I see is a very important need to keep the church holy. And so, that's my video for you today. Like I said, Jesus said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And it's a very serious warning too. I mean, we need to keep ourselves pure. If your eye be good, then your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye be evil, then your whole body will be full of darkness. And how great is the darkness? So yeah, take heed, Grace Church. And you're not alone. Jesus is with you. He's there to defend you and forgive you. He's not standing over you ready to just strike you, smite you, and condemn you. He wants to help you out of that deep pit, which is sexual sin. And so, yeah, that's why I'm doing this video, is because I care and I love people, and I don't want people struggling with the same things that I've struggled through and feel like they have nobody to talk to. You know what I mean? That feel like they have nobody to reach out to. That feels like the church is just a fake thing to get money out of people. It's like, it's not. Like, you don't have to buy this book, but this book is about my sexual purity and the lessons that I've learned from it. So, there you go. You have a friend in me. You have a friend in Jesus. You have an advocate, and you have a righteousness that is not your own through faith in Jesus Christ by His grace. And that's all a gift. So, peace to you, Grace Church.